You are struggling in your dating life because white guys are taking over and dating all women. Well, in today's video, we're gonna figure out why Asian girls love foreigners more than Asian guys. If you're new here, my name is Taipham. I actually help a modern Asian American guy overcome and pro anxiety and improve their dating life.
Why do so many Chinese girls want to date foreigners? Is it because they are better looking or more open-minded? Or is it something more practical like visas or money? You've probably heard people say,
Chinese girls just like foreigners.
but it's barely true. When I scroll through Chinese social media, I often see Chinese girls looking at international couples and saying, "Wow, that looks so fantastic." It almost feels like dating a foreigner is some kind of goal or dream for them. I remember a few years ago, there was an American coach who claimed that he dated over 1,000 Chinese girls just because he's American.
That's crazy. Maybe because he was white. But I do know a lot of guys that have found success over in Asia because they're looking for traditional women, and the women there are more submissive and it's more intriguing to them. I haven't really heard stories about Asian guys finding success in Asia. But it is possible. Like it's easier to date in Asia than it is in America. But we're gonna find out, why do Asian girls in China or in Asia want to date foreigners?
But is that really the case? And that makes me think, is that really that simple? Are Chinese girls only dating foreigners for that reason? So I did some research, and today I want to talk about the real reasons why Chinese girls are attracted and drawn to foreigners. I think it's not just about looks or being cool. For dating someone from a different country, there's so much more than that. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start with the most obvious reason: love. Just like anyone else, Chinese girls can fall in love with someone from any background. Sometimes two people meet and fall in love, doesn't matter where they come from. It's not always about culture or looks or language. Sometimes it's just love, right? When I was traveling abroad, I often saw Chinese girls dating non-Chinese guys. And when I asked them why, they all tell me because they meet and they fall in love with each other. It's so natural. And here in China, it's less common to see international couples because there are just less foreigners around. But I still notice international couples like girls dating foreigners from time to time in my community and on the street. I've always find it fascinating to see couples from different backgrounds because it reminds me of love can cross all kinds of boundaries. The second reason is for practicing a foreign language. This might sound a little bit strange, but some girls really date foreigners to practice or improve their language. You know, learning a language is never easy, and dating a foreigner can be a fun and natural way to improve your skills. I've really seen this happen a lot. When I was studying in Brazil, actually many Brazilians even want to date with Chinese girls or Chinese boys because they want to improve their Chinese skills. And something happens for Chinese girls, they might want to date foreigners to improve their English or other language. And when I was living in Brazil or Australia, I had quite a girlfriends who dated locals for this reason, and their language skill really improved a lot. And
This is why I would date a Vietnamese girl, because I get to learn Vietnamese. But that's not the only reason why I would date like a fob or someone straight from Vietnam. It would have to be some type of connection. And it's quite weird to have someone just fall in love. I don't know if you would call it love, just to learn a foreign language. I believe it's deeper than that. And it's the curiosity, it's the mystery to learn about the other person, right? That you guys can't communicate. I believe that in order to fall in love with someone who's a foreigner, it's just the interest, right? You're totally different. They're a different culture, different language. Communicating is going to be different. So there's a layer of complexity instead of seeing the same type of men and or women in your country.
I think it's especially common for people who are looking for something short-term rather than a long-term relationship. But
Like I said, this is short term versus long term. Like short term is just fun and games. You're in love, if you can call it that. But really, it's short term. It's just fun. It's exploring.
that doesn't mean that relationships are fake. Even if language is part of the reason, I think there are still real feelings involved. It's more than just practice, right? It's about connections and emotions too. Because, for example, if you want to improve your Chinese and you want to find a Chinese girlfriend, you're not going to go on the street and just want to date with any Chinese girl, right? You still want to date with a Chinese girl who you like and you have a connection with.
I mean, it depends on your attraction level. It depends on interests, hobbies. So it doesn't really matter whether or not you can speak the language. It's all about the interests, the hobbies. What do you guys have in common?
And some Chinese girls are just naturally attracted to white men. On Chinese social media, it's very, very common to see Chinese girls with white men. And these posts get a lot of attention. Many of the people who follow in these posts are girls who are curious about foreign life or have a filter for white men. Actually,
which is kind of funny that this is actually addressed. And it's funny because actually when I go to Taiwan, I mean, there's rarely any white people or even black people. And people are just curious about the American culture, right? They ask about the white men, they ask for black men, they ask for the black culture, white culture. So yeah, a lot of Asians from Asia are actually curious about the culture and actually see, in Hollywood or in movies, like they believe that every white person, white guy, white girl is looking like a superstar, like a Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? Like they have this idea that every white guy looks like a supermodel or looks like anybody from Marvel, like Captain America.
lots of Chinese girls think foreign men are kind, good-looking, and respectful to women, rich, fit, and funny. This idea mostly comes from movies, social media, or TV shows where white men are just perfect partners. So when
like I said, coming from movies, coming from social media, coming from just media in general, the news, you name it.
I was dating a foreigner a few years ago. When my friends know about this, they were like, wow, that's so cool. They seemed so impressed or excited to see a girl with a foreign boyfriend. It feels like dating a foreigner added a bit of excitement, and it made me feel like I was doing something unique or cool, or I was being super good. And for some girls, dating a white man might feel like a chance to experience something new, break away from traditional expectations, etc.
It's like a status game, right? It's like a new Pokemon. You date, get a new Pokemon. You're so excited you want to share it and share it to your friends and share the stories that you have. It's quite weird. Like if I were to date like a white girl, I'm like, oh, totally new experience, right? But to me, it seems like you're just pedalizing them, putting them on a pedestal, and like putting them as an idol, which is kind of weird.
And the next thing is the different beauty standards in other countries and China. Beauty standards vary across countries. In China, we tend to lean towards Western beauty ideals. Chinese men often prefer girls with big eyes, small face, white, super skinny, and youthful. Even though this is slowly changing, the beauty standards in China are still quite strict for Chinese women. It can feel like there are a lot of pressure to look a certain way, which can affect how Chinese girls feel about themselves. I've talked about my beauty pressure in other videos, check out if you want. And I had a girlfriend who told me that she wouldn't date a Chinese man because she's not pretty and she's not a perfect partner for many Chinese men. And what's worse is that some men even think she's ugly, only because she has small eyes, a round face, and she's tan and she's not that skinny. And when she studied abroad, things changed. Many foreigners found her beautiful and compliment her because she has a super good personality and she smiles a lot. That made her realize that
it's because a lot of these women are on the supportive side, and most guys just need someone that's gonna love them, support them, and give them comfort. The looks will disappear, but most importantly, it's about how would foreign women, Asian women treat men, and that's why they're so attracted to white guys. And white guys, they provide, they do everything, and all they need to do is take care of the household, take care and support them in their endeavors.
Her personality and characters are much more valued than her looks. That gave her so much more confidence in herself. And honestly, this makes a lot of sense. Different cultures appreciate different beauties. Sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone or experience life in a different country can change your perspective on beauty. You don't need to force yourself into one beauty standard. What's more important is find someone who really appreciates who you are.
That's why so many young women look the way they are, right? You look at a girl and you think she's like 25, but she's actually like 16 or 18 because she's trying to uphold to this beauty standard in America versus in Asia. Like they value their values, their morals, and their works, right? Very totally different worth ethic, very totally different values in terms of what's more important. Is it looks or is it values or is it works? Is it how you attract other people and how much money you make?
And in China, people care a lot about age when it comes to dating. Usually, the man is expected to be older or more successful in their career. As we discussed before, Chinese women face a kind of 30-year checkpoint. If a woman hasn't married by 30, she's often labeled as leftover woman whom nobody wants. Some even believe that if a woman is single around 30 years old, that means something is wrong with her. Also, this kind of mindset is slowly changing with the rise of feminism. It's still the mainstream belief, especially for men. This creates a lot of pressure for women overall around 30 years old who don't want to rush into marriage just to fit societal expectations. In many Western cultures, though, age isn't as big of a concern when it comes to dating. A foreigner might accept a woman who is older than him or more successful than him, and they wouldn't mind to date someone who is more focused on career rather than marriage. This more open-minded attitude is more comfortable for some women who feel trapped by traditional views about age and relationships.
This is very interesting to hear because, yeah, doesn't really matter. And men over in America, I mean, they don't have as much of abundance versus when they go to Asia. They get what they can, right? And in America, they can't get the abundance. They're not able to date as many women or to be attracted to other women versus going to Asia. There's a whole bunch of people that are already attracted to white men. And so that's why it's so attractive for guys to come to Asia and date. And so these are probably one of the most important things that attracts a lot of guys to go to Asia. And so there's nothing wrong with Chinese girls or Asian girls who date white guys. And it's in their culture. It's in the social media. It's in what they hear and what they see. And it's kind of sad to see Asian men just roast Asian women down to say, hey, like, why are you dating white guys? Or why are you worshiping white dudes? It's just sad to see. And it's honestly discouraging for a lot of Asian guys to put themselves out there because they believe that they're at a disadvantage to a lot of Asian women. And the only thing you can really do is improve your looks, your status, your circle of friends, your dating pool, so that you can have abundance. Now, if you want to know exactly how to improve your dating life as an Asian American man and overcome approach anxiety, click the link down below. I actually have a free 6-week course that you can join, and I'll teach you everything that you need to know on how to have a successful dating life. Click the link down below. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, turn post notifications on, and I'll see you in the next question. And I'll see you in the next one. Asian Boss Boy, out.